So you want to grow your coaching business to go full time, to be more present with your children, to have that life of freedom and fulfillment that you truly desire. Like you have a snippet, you have a picture and a desire for what you want. However, your business right now has seen a plateau. It's pretty small right now. You're not seeing the clients that you would like to see consistently month after month. You're not hitting your monthly income goals. You're not hitting enough revenue per month to be able to successfully transition into coaching full time. And so, one of the reasons why I truly believe you're not seeing the business breakthrough that you truly desire is because your faith is not childlike enough. Like I'm going to be breaking down in this live episode of the Daily Dose. I'm going to be breaking down why childlike faith is the key to growth in your coaching business. We're going to be diving deeper into what the revelation that the Lord showed me this morning and why you're praying for breakthrough, but like, do you have that vast vision? Are you embodying the identity of the woman or the coach, the full-time entrepreneur that God is calling you? Are you fully embodying her with childlike faith? Are you taking action and taking, you might be doing the things, but are you really doing it with full belief, right? With just childlike faith, knowing that it's already done. Like I want you to think of a child, right? A child, like my daughter, my son, they don't think about the lights coming on, right? They wake up, they flip on the light, but they expect the light to come on, but they're not paying the electricity bill, right? Who's paying it? They're not responsible for it, but they still show up in full expectation to know, oh, the lights are going to turn on today because it's just expectant. And that is how you are to go to God, just knowing that He's such a good and loving Father, that the vision that He's given to you, He is going to see it come to pass, right? Or maybe you're even limiting the vision that He's given to you. Maybe I'm reading a book right now by Andrew Womack. It's The Power of the Imagination. And he also wrote a book called Don't Limit God. And oftentimes it's our own limiting beliefs that cause the vision to not be made manifest into our lives. And so on this episode, I'm just super excited to come before you for another episode of the Daily Dose. I am Janel Ranèe. I help you to transition into coaching full time without sacrificing time with your family, without chasing clients, or without self-sabotaging. And so the Daily Dose, the dose is an acronym for divine overflow of spirit-led empowerment, encouragement, equipping, as you transition into coaching full time. And I'm really excited to come forth with this message because I just feel it so heavy in my spirit. Like the Lord is just like, come to me and with childlike faith, right? Matthew 18:3 says, unless you become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. And this is Jesus himself speaking. He's like, do not turn away the children when the children wanted to come, when we're approaching him. He's like, unless you become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. And so it's really important to understand that God wants you to come to him. You are his child in any situation, whether it's business, whether it's your finances, whether it's your health, whether it's relationships, whatever the situation is, right? I'm speaking from a business perspective because I am a business coach. However, in any area of your life, come to God with true childlike faith, knowing that God wants to pour into you. He wants to give you everything your heart desires, but as long as it's in his will, right? As long as it's in his perfect will for your life. And so I have a question for you. How can you incorporate more childlike faith in your business? How can you incorporate more childlike faith? How can you go to God expecting, like, okay, Lord, I believe you. I trust you. I know that this is already done. Like my kids, they don't have to worry about a meal being present at night. Why? Because they have this childlike faith. They have this expectancy, like, okay, mommy's gonna cook, daddy's gonna cook. They're already expecting it. They already know it. That is their childlike faith. And that's the same way you need to be in your business. If God has shown you 100K months or 100K days, if he's shown you a 100K business, if he's shown you a six-figure business or multi-six-figure business or $1 million business, or $1 billion, like whatever the Lord has shown you, like believe that it's already done. Know that it's already done because your Father has already taken care of it. And so I want you to take some time in your alone time with the Lord to really brainstorm and journal out, like, okay, how can I really incorporate more childlike faith inside of my business, right? And so I'm going to be going over 3 points on how to incorporate more childlike faith, and I'm going to be showing you the three steps to really be able to do that in your business, to really exponentially grow your coaching business. And so the very first thing is imagination, right? And so, like I said, I'm reading a book right now on the power of the imagination. I'm actually rereading it because I've read it before, but it's so powerful. And this time I'm like, I'm gonna read it again with more intentionality. And I'm going to actually be more intentional about teaching what I'm learning from this book because it's just so powerful. I've learned so much already, but I'm just refreshing because it's just so powerful. Like our imagination is such a gift from God. Like when God created us and gave us an imagination, this is we want to look at our imagination as our spiritual eyes, right? When you're thinking of something, you have to understand that your subconscious thinks in pictures, right? And so when God is speaking to you, when he's showing you a vision for your business, it's through your imagination that you're able to envision this, right? And we're reminded in Genesis, I wrote notes here, so let me pull up my notes quickly. So we're reminded in Genesis chapter 15, right? Chapter 15, verse 5, it says, "Look now toward heaven and count the stars. So shall your descendants be." This is Abram. This is what God was showing Abram before he had any children. He told him that his descendants will be more than the stars in the sky. God used a visual. God used the stars to really be able to allow Abraham to imagine the vision and the promise that he was giving to him. And it's in the same way with your business. If God has placed a vision for you to have an exponential business, you have to continue to imagine that day and night, continue to imprint it on the subconscious mind. This is the work that I do inside of my coaching program with my clients, because it's one thing we do strategy. I have the strategy to help you to grow, but what it is you need that belief system. And it's in the repetition, it's in the subconscious reprogramming that we're able to really instill the belief systems that's required to hold and maintain and sustain the business that the Lord has entrusted you with, right? It's so important. I teach my clients this, but you have to meditate on the vision. We do this practice where we're visualizing day and night in the theta brainwave. Is in that state is where your subconscious is susceptible to the vision. And so I help my clients to really formulate a visual meditation so that you're able to imagine it, to see it. This is what imprints it on the subconscious mind so that it becomes second nature to you. It's like you show up with this expectancy because the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. And that's the power of our imagination. And so I use the tools. Like as a registered nurse turned business coach, I know how the body works, right? And just through revelation through the Holy Spirit as well, like the Lord has really revealed to me different strategies and tactics to use to get your body on board with the business that he's calling you to steward. And so this is why imagination is so vital when it comes to growing your business exponentially. You have to have the vision. You have to see it before you actually see it physically on this earth. And so imagination is your spiritual eyes. Okay? Imagination is your spiritual sight. And so just like and the beautiful thing about imagination is even as adults, it's so important that we imagine because we use our imaginations, because as children, we used to do it all the time. This is why the Lord was saying, come to him with childlike faith, because as children, we imagine, we believe, we see it. We have such vast imaginations, but as we got older and life began to life, and we went to go to school, we're told to get a job. There's no time for the imagination, there's no time for daydreaming, there's no time for visualizing, there's no time for that. We got to get to work, we got to do the things, right? We got to stick to the societal cultural norms, right? And not use our imagination anymore. It's time to go work for 40 years, 40 hours a day, right? That is what we're told through societal programming. But it's important that we understand, like, nope, we're going to use our imagination because God speaks to me through my imagination and he gives me the vision through this. And so we're going to incorporate this. We're going to incorporate this back into our day in and day out. And I want you to really think of some ways that you're going to incorporate using your imagination so that you can truly see all of the goodness that God truly desires for you to have in your life and in your business. All right. And so let me just look at my notes, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Yeah. So children, they dream without limits. Children, they'll dream without any limitations. I watch my daughter right now. She's 9, but she still has this wild imagination, right? And she'll sit there with her dolls and she'll have this whole dialogue going. And it's beautiful. And I want her to continue to have this, right? And it's when you use it daily, when you use your imagination daily, you align your subconscious with heaven's blueprints. All right. And so I want you to use your imagination when you're praying, when you're meditating, when you're visualizing in your business. I want you to see it already thriving. See the vision of your business already thriving. Don't dismiss imaginatory visions as just mere fantasy. No, like, as long if it's aligned with with God and God's will for you, it's not just a fantasy. This is God, like, showing you what is possible. Like, the life I'm living today was once in my imagination. And so this is how I'm able to speak so boldly about this, because I understand what it takes. Like, I understand how the subconscious works and how your body works to really be able to manifest the life that you truly desire, the life that God has given to you, right? The life that desire he's placed on your heart. All right, because it's in your imagination that God is able to reveal the vision he has for you. He's able to reveal the future he has for you. In his word in Jeremiah 29:11, God he says, he's like, I have plans to prosper you, to give you hope and to give you a future. And so God has plans for you. And so it's really important that we remember 2 Corinthians 4:18, which says, we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but what is unseen. That is what we need to be looking at, what is unseen. All right. So now we're going to move on to the second point. I can stay on imagination for hours, but we're going to move on to the second point. The second point is identity. So once God has shown you the vision, he's placed that vision in your imagination, you're meditating on it, you're seeing it day in and day out. This is when you begin to now embody the identity. And so you can have the book that I mentioned earlier before, Don't Limit God. It's like God can give you that vision through your imagination. But if you do not see yourself as the person to be able to fulfill that vision, it's going to stay up here. And it's so important that you begin to see yourself as that person. See yourself as the booked out coach. See yourself as the full-time entrepreneur. See yourself as the author. See yourself as the speaker. See yourself as the content creator with the silver plaque behind you, right? Like, see yourself as that person that God has shown you to be. You must embody the identity of the woman God is calling you to be before the fruit actually shows up in your life. Before you can actually see it in the physical, you have to see it up here and you have to embody it. You have to start to take action, right? And so this is not fake it until you make it, right? It's not fake it until you make it. This is faith it. Faith is a substance of things hoped for with the evidence of things not seen. So even if you can't physically see it in your physical reality, you still want to see it here, imagine it, and then see yourself as that. See yourself walking through the vision that God has given to you. See yourself doing it. Start calling yourself it. Speak those things that be not as though they were. And so you want to speak to yourself. Call yourself a full-time coach. Call yourself a leader, a thought leader. Call yourself a booked out coach. Call yourself a full-time entrepreneur if that is a vision God has given to you. Identity is spiritual alignment, right? So imagination is spiritual sight. Identity is spiritual alignment. It's getting into alignment with your identity, the identity that God has called you, your God-given identity, not the labels that the world places on you, but the identity that your Father in heaven has birthed you to embody on this earth. He's giving you a purpose. He has a plan for you, and he wants you to step into that identity. This is how you become spiritually aligned with who he's called you to be. All right. This is what your identity is. And so I want you to ask, I want you to ask yourself, like, who do you become when the vision is fulfilled? Like, how is she showing up? How is she speaking? How is she going through life, right? How is she dealing with challenges? Think of yourself from that future perspective, and you're going to see that manifest so much faster in your life when you use this. Okay. Identity isn't built through striving, but through alignment with what God already spoke over you. So you don't have to strive. Just just literally be in alignment, spiritual alignment with who God has called you to be. All right. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. That is Proverbs 23:7. And so as you continue to think in your heart, your subconscious mind, as you continue to imagine, this is how you are able to align your identity with the vision that God has given to you. Remember, 2 Corinthians 4:18. I'm going to keep saying it. For we fix our eyes on what is seen, not what is unseen. I'm sorry. We fix our eyes not on what is seen, but what is unseen. I said that backwards. But it's really important to understand identity. Once you have the imagination, right? You use your imagination, your spiritual sight. You want to start to embody that identity. Okay. And then lastly, the third point that I have for you is implementation. Implementation. So this is how you walk it out daily. And so faith without works is dead. We know that, right? James 2:17 says that faith by itself, it if it does not have works, is dead. That's James 2:17. And so it's one thing to write the vision, make it plain, Habakkuk 2:2, but the other half of that scripture is, then he may run who reads it. And so you have to run with the vision. This is the implementation phase, right? Implementation. It's one thing to have the imagination and the identity. Now it's time to implement, right? After you see it and believe it, now you must do it. Take action, build routines that reinforce this new identity. So I spoke of the identity, but what you really have to understand is that it's in your daily habits. It's your daily habits that compound. So once you identify as this version of yourself, the full-time coach, the full-time entrepreneur, the speaker, the booked out coach, once you see yourself as this, right? You're going to then begin to you have that identity. Now you're going to start to implement habits, start to implement routines day in and day out, that your future version of yourself, that author, that best-selling author, like whoever God has shown you, you want to start to implement routines and habits that will begin to compound on each other so that you can see that vision be made manifest in your life. But it requires you taking action steps. It requires you implementing. Implementation is spiritual discipline. Implementation is spiritual discipline. This is how you become. This is how you see it come to pass. All right. Take aligned actions each day as your future self. Let your behavior be evidence of your belief. Oh my gosh. So in my coaching program, I have this formula, and it's literally called the believed behavior blueprint, because when my coaching, I use it on pretty much all my coaching calls. This is such a powerful tool because your behavior will always tell me what you're believing. And your belief behind your behavior is what is going to generate to really build that connection, right, with your audience. If you are showing up and creating content, but deep within you don't really truly believe it, your audience can sense that. They can feel that. They can feel if you actually are confident in what you're saying. They can feel if you're actually convicted in what you're saying, if you actually have clarity in what you're saying. And this is why it's so important to truly have the beliefs that support you behind everything that you're doing in your business. It's implementation. It's using your everyday things that you're going to be doing. Like you want to do like habit stacking, right? So if you know God has called you to build out your business, you know, a part of that is showing up to create content, right? And so something that I teach really heavily in my program is nervous system regulation. So as a registered nurse turned business coach, I help you to grow your business, but also to understand how your body works as you grow your business, right? So especially as women, we have 4 phases in our cycles, right? So it's learning to work with your body and learning the time phrases and the phases that you're in, learning to understand, okay, how to think. It's not like you already know what to think, right? We already know you know what to think. But as a coach, I teach you how to think. I teach you how to think from your future self if you want to see those results in your business, right? What is she doing? How is she showing up? And so I help you to work with your body so that you're no longer working against it, right? So when you find that, I help you to understand how you work. So when you can identify, like if you're in fight response, if you're in freeze response, if you're in flight or fawn response, like we're able to regulate your nervous system in real time. I teach you my safe protocol so that you're able to self-regulate. Because if your body doesn't feel safe, it's not going to continue to show up. Like if your body doesn't feel safe, if you don't feel safe being seen, if you don't deal with those beliefs, those subconscious beliefs that's running 95% of your actions, you're not going to feel safe showing up. And then as a result of it, your business will suffer. Your marketing, you won't show up to market because you don't feel confident. You don't feel safe. You end up in flight response, right? You're literally you're running, right? Or jumping from strategy to strategy. Or maybe you're in fawn response where you're people pleasing and your message is so diluted because you're so afraid to offend anyone. You're in the fawn phase. And so this is the work that I do within my coaching business as a registered nurse turned business coach. I help you to understand how your body works and how to work with your body so that you no longer self-sabotage your business growth. All right. And so this is the work that we do. I'm actually going to be hosting my workshop live tomorrow. I host it live once a month. I think I'm going to actually start to host it a little bit more often because I just love this workshop. It's the Call to Coach workshop. If you know God has called you to coaching and you're probably just, like I stated in the beginning of this video, maybe your business is a little stalled. Maybe you're just not experiencing that business breakthrough that, the Lord has shown you. Maybe, you want to make consistent 10K months so you can transition into coaching full time. This workshop is going to really break down the 3 secrets to get you transition from your career into your calling of coaching full time. I'm going to be breaking down those 3 nuggets. We're going to be covering your biggest mistakes the biggest mistakes that are keeping you stuck in your career, keeping you stuck from transitioning into coaching full time. We're also going to be breaking down how to maximize your time and productivity without adding stress to your day, without self-sabotaging. We're going to be also breaking down how to make massive sales in your business, even if you don't have a massive audience, and even if you're a busy working mom, right? So this is what we're going to be covering in this Call to Coach workshop, and I'm super excited about it. Ooh, I can't wait. So I'll be hosting it live tomorrow. The link will be in the description for you to sign up. But I pray that this video has been truly a blessing for you. We covered why childlike faith is the key to growth in your coaching business. We covered imagination, identity, and implementation. Those are the 3 ways for you to really establish more childlike faith in your business, using your imagination, embodying your identity, and truly implementing with that in full alignment with who God has called you to be. And so I love you. I'm going to tell you, just as God told me, put one foot in front of the other, step out on faith, and trust God for the next step. Also, if you have any questions or you want any topics in particular, be sure to just put it in the comment section, and I will definitely create another live teaching on that specific question. I'm here daily for your daily dose, and I pray you have a blessed rest of your day. Bye. God bless.